Hari Om. In today's discussion, we will be carrying on in the Bhagavad Gita from chapter 11, verse number 38. What we've seen so far is in this chapter, which is called Vishvarupa Darshanam, which is the darshanam or the worship or the vision of the divine or the universal form of the Lord. So Lord Krishna has revealed his Vishwarupam to Arjuna, and when the Lord revealed his universal form to Arjuna, Arjuna went through three phases of emotion. The first phase of emotion that Arjuna went through was described from verses 15 to 22, which is known as Vishmaya. Vishmaya means wonderment, because Arjuna saw so many beautiful, wondrous things in this universal form of the Lord. And then also in this universal form, Arjuna saw a lot of destruction, because Lord is in everything. Lord is in creation, Lord is in preservation, and Lord also is present in destruction. So when Arjuna saw the pleasant, all the wondrous things as part and parcel of the Lord, he was in a state of wonderment. But then his eyes fell upon the destructive nature, and destruction is happening every second of the time throughout the world. So then Arjuna went through the second phase of emotion, which is called Bhayam, from verses 23 to 31. Bhayam is fear, because he couldn't handle this, to see so much of destruction going on, and especially more so on the battlefield where many soldiers were being killed continuously throughout the 18-day battle. And then came the third emotional phase that Arjuna went through from verses 36 to 44. And this is when Arjuna totally surrendered. So that is Saranagati. So unable to take this destructive nature of the Lord, unable to understand, Arjuna just surrendered. And as I mentioned in the previous video, that verses 36 to 44 are beautiful prayer verses to the Lord. These verses we recite in the ashram every evening during the evening arti, during the Sandhya arti. So we've already covered some of the verses up to verse number 37 in the last discussion. We will now carry on from verse number 38. So in verse number 38, Arjuna is appreciating his, or rather surrendering to the Lord, and he's doing namaskar to the Lord. He is bowing down repeatedly and surrendering to the Lord. So here also he carries on what we call surrendering, and he describes many superlative, he uses many superlative terms to describe the ultimate nature of the Lord. So here in verse 38, chapter 11, he says, Tvam, you are Adi Deva. So Devas, there are many Devas, but here Arjuna is talking about the Adi Deva, which means the original Deva, the Deva who is the supremost Deva, who is manifested in all the different Devas that are here. So he says, you are the original Deva, you are the primal Deva. Before all the Devas were created, you were the most supreme Deva. You are Purusha. Purusha means the all-pervading one, the one who dwells within and without any object. So Purusha has got two meanings. One meaning is Puryati Sarvam iti Purusha, the one who is all-pervading. Puru means body, Sha means dweller. So one meaning is the one who is dwelling in the body, and the other meaning is the one who is dwelling everywhere. So in short, you are both inside and outside every object in creation. You are the all-pervading Supreme Being. Tvam Purana, You are the unborn one. You have no beginning. You transcend the very effects of time. You are not constrained by, so the earlier one, Purusha, is you are not constrained by space. Purana is you are not constrained by time. You are beyond time and space. Then he says, Tvam, you are Nidhanam. You are the very ground of dissolution into which this whole creation dissolves. And what type of ultimate dissolution? Param. Param means the ultimate, beyond that there is no other form of dissolution, because everything dissolves into Bhagwan. Just like all the ornaments come from gold, and if we dissolve all ornaments, they go back to its original source called gold. So he says, you are the Param Nidhanam, you are the ultimate ground of dissolution. Visvasya. Visvasya means of the universe. This entire universe. So even the elements dissolve from one to another. You can change one element to another. For example, if you melt ice, it goes to water. Ice dissolves into water. You heat up water, it dissolves into vapor. But ultimately, at the point of dissolution, everything in this Visvasya, the whole creation, will dissolve back into its origin. And here Arjuna is saying, you are that very, what we call, point into which everything dissolves into. So, as we have seen before, that, at the point of Mahapralayam, everything dissolves back into Bhagwan, so into Brahman. What is highest nature of Lord? That is Brahman. And from that again, when everything dissolves back into Brahman at the end of the destruction, the end of the Mahapralayam, at the beginning of creation, Bhagwan brings forth everything again. So actually nothing is destroyed. It just gets dissolved from manifest to unmanifest, from unmanifest back into manifestation. Then Arjuna goes on to say, you are Veta Asi. You are the knower of everything. The all-knowing one. That is what we call, the titles we normally give to Bhagwan is that you are the knower of everything. You know everything that is happening in this entire universe, in this entire creation. Because Bhagwan alone is existing before the creation, during the creation, and even after the whole world is dissolved, it is only Bhagwan who exists. So that's why he knows everything from all periods of time. So Veda Asi, you are Vedyam. Veda Asi, you are the knower of everything, and Vedyam, you are the knowable. Meaning, ultimately, everything else we know is about this perishable world. But Vedyam, you are the only thing existing in this creation which is to be known as the imperishable. So by knowing Bhagwan, by knowing the nature of Bhagwan, we know everything else about creation. Example, if we have knowledge of clay, we have knowledge of all the pots. If we have knowledge of gold, we have knowledge of all the ornaments. So once we know what is the origin, the support, and the essence of all pots, then we know everything about the pots. So once we know everything about Bhagwan, we know everything about the existence of this world, also the essence of this creation. Param Dhama, you are the Param, the supreme Dhama, the abode, meaning you are the ultimate goal of every spiritual seeker. And this also will be emphasized more once we reach chapter 15, verse 6, which explains the ultimate goal of every spiritual seeker. Why is Lord the most supreme or the ultimate goal of every spiritual seeker? Because every other goal that we attain, whatever goal we attain besides Bhagwan, they are only finite goals. They are temporary. They only give us temporary happiness. And again, we are seeking. So we won't stop seeking until we reach this ultimate goal. So that's why Lord is known as a Parandhama, because He is the infinite. He is the ultimate goal, as He alone gives us infinite bliss, infinite happiness. Tvaya tatham, Tvaya by you, tatham is pervaded Vishwam, the entire universe. You are all pervading. So why can I not see you if you are everywhere? Because the Lord pervades this entire creation. Here is mentioned here, Arjuna mentions that in Ananta, in endless rupam, in endless forms. So you are pervading this whole creation, but you are unmanifest, but you are in endless forms. Just like water, we put in a tray of ice cubes. Water is the one all-pervading factor. It is indivisible in all the ice cubes. Ice cubes take many different shapes and forms, but water remains indivisible. That brings us to verse 39, where Arjuna continues to express his what we call gratitude or surrender to the Lord. So Arjuna says here, "O Lord, you are Vayu." So how do you pervade this whole creation? You pervade this whole creation in different ways. You are Vayu, you are in the air. In the air also your presence is there. You are Yamaha, you are the Kala Devata, the time or death principle. At time of death also you are there. So you are there in creation, you are there also in destruction. You are Agnir, you are in the fire, you are the very effulgence of fire. You are Varuna, you are in all the waters, in all the bodies of water, the ocean, the rivers, the lakes, you exist everywhere, in the rain also. Then you are Shashanka, you are in the moon, the brilliance or the shining effulgence of the moon also is due to your presence. And you are Prajapati. Prajapati means, the word Praja means people, Pati means the Lord. So you are the Lord of all the creatures, as you alone are the source of this whole creation. So although Lord created Brahma, Brahma created the world, but Brahma himself was created by Brahman. So that's why he says, ultimately you are Prajapati, you are the Lord of this whole creation. So Prajapati. Then you are Prapita Maha, you are the great grandfather. So how does the Lord become great grandfather? Now, who is our father? The father of all humans, what we call, we are created from a father. But if we go back to the ultimate beginning, the father of all human beings is Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma was created by Brahman. So Brahman automatically becomes our great grandfather also. We have a father. The father was created by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma was created by Brahman. So Brahman is the great grandfather of this whole creation. So he is glorifying the very ultimate source, the very ultimate source of this whole creation, of this existence. So now, knowing that you are the ultimate, the total cause of this whole creation, what should I as a devotee do? And this is what Arjuna does here. He says, Namo Namahas, salutations upon salutations. Again and again I offer my namaskars to you. So how many times am I going to bow down to you? Astu te, be to you, O Lord, sahasra kritva, 1,000 times. So I'm not just going to bow down one time, but I offer my salutations to you again and again, 1,000 times again and again. So we can see that extent of Arjuna's devotion, that extent of Arjuna's surrender is totally overcome by this emotion of surrender. His words are full of devotion as he is realizing he is experiencing the Lord everywhere, in everything and everywhere. So he's saying, 1,000 times I offer you my salutations. And that is still not enough to Arjuna. So he says, Namaha te, salutations to you, punaha cha api bhuya. Punaha again, cha and api bhuya ever again. Again and again. Not only 1,000 times also is not enough, but again and again I wish to bow down to you, I wish to prostrate in front of you, I wish to offer my salutations to you continuously again and again. Arjuna cannot stop expressing his emotions of surrender to the Lord. So, we come to verse number 40. And where is this Lord? Where do you offer your salutations to? So, Arjuna says, Namaha, I offer salutations, te, to you. Where is the Lord? Understand, Arjuna is seeing the Lord everywhere. So he says, I offer my salutations to you, purastat, in front, because you are present in front of me. But he says, athaha, also I understand that you are all pervading. So I also offer my salutations to you who are prastataha, who are behind me also. So not only are you in the front, you're also behind me. And that's why if you recall in chapter 9 verse 15, Lord is to be known as Vishvato Mukhaha, whose face, Mukhaha, faces in all directions. So what Arjuna is saying, I offer salutations to you because you are everywhere. In front of me you are there, behind of me also you are there. And instead of saying I offer salutations to you in the north, in the south, in the northeast, southwest, etc., Arjuna says, Astute, to you, I offer my salutations, sarvata, all sides eva, verily. So, where are you not? I am offering you my salutations to you from all sides. So, namaskara to the Lord, sarva, because you exist in everything in creation. I offer my salutations to you in all sides. Now, in many of the Upanishads also, it is mentioned that where the Lord exists, for example, we take Mundaka Upanishad, it mentions what is in front is Brahman, what is behind is Brahman, what is on the right, on the left, above and below is Brahman. So everything is Brahman with different names and forms, which cause only a superficial difference. So therefore, Arjuna is saying, I offer you my salutations from all sides, to all sides. And what else Arjuna is describing or surrendering to the Lord? He says, I salute your virya, your strength. And why salute Lord's strength? Because Lord's strength, as compared to all the strengths of all the creatures or human beings in this world, only Lord has virya, which is ananta, which is infinite. He is the one who has the infinite power, as what we call, he has the power to create or destroy anything in this creation. And then he says, not only you have ananta virya, you also have vikrama, which is very important because many people have strength, but they do not know how to harness, how to use this strength. So vikrama means right skill. So Lord, you are the one who has that infinite strength or power. At the same time, you have vikrama, the right skill to use that power in the right way also, for the protection of dharma, for the destruction of adharma also. So as we see, on this battlefield there were Pandavas and there were Kauravas. Both were using their power in this war. Pandavas also used their power to kill, Kauravas also used their power and strength to kill. But what is the difference? The difference is Pandavas were fighting using their power to uphold Dharma. Kauravas were using their power and fighting to uphold Adharma. So having power is one thing, but having the right skill how to use that power also is very important. And Lord has both infinite power and infinite skill. And then Arjuna goes on to say, Sarvam, everything, everywhere, Samapnoshi, you pervade. So, here a very important point also that Arjuna is making, that we always tend to think that the God is located in a particular place or temple. Okay, so we wrongly think that God is a place where we have to travel somewhere to attain the Lord. But, and even we go to temples, we go to pilgrimages to find that how to attain the Lord. But reaching the Lord is to drop the wrong conditioning that God is somewhere far away. Actually, God is everywhere. He's within us, He's beside us, He's everywhere. So reaching God is not a physical journey. It is a mental, what we call a mental ignorance. Once we drop this mental ignorance that God is everywhere, all around me, within me, all around me, we have already connected with that divine being. So the question is, we must drop this wrong understanding about the Lord. Just as a very simple question, how many kilometers should the wave travel to reach an ocean? So why should the wave travel to reach the ocean? It is already part and parcel of the ocean. The idea of traveling to meet God is because of our own ignorance of our own real nature. And this ignorance can only be removed through one way, and that is through knowledge. So here, by Vishwarupam, we understand that the Lord is everywhere. Once we understand this, then our separation from the Lord ceases to exist. So Arjuna says, Tataha, thus, O Lord, Asi, you are Sarva, you are everything. So not only you pervade everything, you are also within and without every object also. So, example, if we say, gold pervades all ornaments. That's what initially our understanding is. Gold is in all ornaments. Then actually when we come to a higher understanding, we say actually there is nothing besides gold, because ornament is gold appearing in a particular form. The ring is gold appearing in a particular form. Necklace is gold appearing in a particular form. So actually all ornaments are nothing but gold. So this is a different level of understanding that we all have to go through. Now that brings us to verse number 41. In verse number 41, as you all know, the scriptures also tell us that we can have very, very different relationships with the Lord, depending on our emotional state. So some have a friendly relationship with the Lord. Some consider the Lord as their father or as their mother. So here also in this verse now, Arjuna reflects on his relationship with Krishna, because now he's come to understand that what he thought of Krishna being an ordinary jiva, now he realizes that Krishna is beyond all this. So Krishna was a sakha, he was a friend in the beginning, and then that was before the battle. Arjuna considered Krishna as his sakha or friend. When he came to the battlefield in chapter 2 verse number 7, he surrendered to Krishna. Then Arjuna became a shishya or a student of Krishna. So now Arjuna realizes the true identity of Krishna, and with reverence he looks upon Krishna now as a devotee. He considers himself as a bhakta, as a devotee. So from sakha, friend, he went to shishya, which is student, and then became a bhakta or a devotee of Krishna. So in this part of the prayer was he appeals to the Lord to forgive him because of the way he used to treat him before. Because when we treat a person differently is because of our different relationships. So sometimes not knowing a person's what we call status or what we call greatness, we may treat them in a very informal way. So here Arjuna is asking for his forgiveness. He says, Matva iti, Matva thinking iti of you as an ordinary jiva. I look upon you earlier as a sakha, as a friend. So earlier, I, I didn't look upon you as the supreme being. I looked upon you as my friend. Then, because why? He says, not knowing your nature, not knowing your real nature. So Arjuna is saying, yet whatever way I have uktvam, whatever way I have addressed you, whatever way I have spoken to you, maybe in a very rude manner or a very not a respectful manner. So he says, Yat uktva, whatever way I have addressed you, could have been very prasabam. Prasabam means very rude, very casual, without respect. So just like when we meet a guru, we will bow down and address the guru in a different way, like respected guru or something like that. But to a friend, we won't do that. We will just address him in a very casual way, like, hey, how are you? Or something like that. So Arjuna is saying, please forgive me for the way I addressed you earlier because I considered you as a friend. I did not know about your greatness, about your glories. So he says, in whatever way I have addressed you before, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakhe. So just like we address a friend, we address them very casually by their names, by their family name, or we just say brother or friend. But we wouldn't address a guru or a what we call a senior person in that same way. Not we will address them in a very different, respectful way. So Arjuna is saying it's not because I wanted to disrespect you, but because of my ignorance of your real nature. So here he says, Ajanantaha, I was ignorant of Tava, your idam, this Mahimanam, your greatness, your glorious nature, your real, higher, all-pervading, supreme nature. So, therefore, he says, it is due alone to my Maya, my Pramadat. Pramadat means inadvertence or oversight, right, of Krishna's divine nature. And because of not only my ignorance of your nature, but because of pranayena, because of my closeness, because of the type of intimate relationship that Arjuna shared with Krishna. Because we must not also forget that Arjuna was married to Subhadra. Subhadra was Krishna's sister. So Krishna was also Arjuna's brother-in-law, and the relationship was a very close one. So he therefore treated the Lord in a very different way. So this is what Arjuna slowly is going to appeal to the Lord. And when we resume the next lesson, we will carry on with verse number 42. Hari Om Tat Sat.